Step into a world of romance and mystery with Tamora Rose. Today we're reading chapter 35 of Child of the Wind. Consciousness tugged at her tired mind, flirting with her, encouraging her to open her eyes. But the last time she'd had her eyes open, her father's cousin had been about to rape her. She didn't think she could bear to see his face again. Sleep was better. Death was better. "Come on, lovely," a gentle voice urged in her ear. "Time to wake up. You're safe now." She knew that voice. It was her husband. Her husband was with her, promising she was safe. Believing him, even though she was still full of fear, Canace struggled to lift her heavy eyelids. One wouldn't cooperate. "Don't be alarmed, lovely, but one side of your face is swollen. You may not be able to open that eye just yet." So she found his face with her one good eye. "Jett," she sobbed as a tear slipped unbidden down her cheek. He stroked her hair with gentle fingers. "How do you feel?" Canace took stock of herself. Her face was certainly sore and swollen, as he had warned, but there was more. Her chest burned. There was an ache deep within her belly. One leg felt a little funny, and her left arm was bound up and held tightly against her chest. Nothing felt right, but all of it felt like it would heal, in time. "I hurt," she finally whispered, and it was true. Her husband nodded. "You were badly injured, but nothing that won't heal." As she had thought, Canace reflected. But when she looked at him, dazed though she was, she thought she saw sadness there, in his eyes. A sadness he didn't want her to see. She could only think of two reasons for that. Did he rape me?" she finally asked, starting with something that she could barely stand to contemplate. But Jett shook his head and took her hand. Then the baby." When she couldn't finish, Jett leaned down to place a kiss on her forehead. "I'm sorry," he whispered. It was as she'd feared. She'd lost the baby. Fresh tears flowed, stinging the cuts on her cheeks and causing her bruises to glisten in the morning sun. Sobs tore at her throat and chest, aggravating the injuries she'd sustained. The new pains only made her cry harder, creating a vicious cycle. Now she was causing her own pain, and there was nothing she could do about it. Until Jett took the matter into his own hands. Her husband moved closer, restraining her with his powerful arms, placed his lips on her forehead. "Still, lovely," he murmured against her flesh. "Hold still. The pain will pass." He was talking about more than the physical pain, and she knew it. But how could this kind of pain pass? How could she move on when she couldn't imagine a future without her baby? A baby she'd wanted, needed, to make her life complete. Her cheeks were still wet and splotchy when she finally spoke. "I know I said I wasn't ready for a baby," she sniffled. "Before we were married, I mean. I know I said that, but I wanted this baby. Our baby." "I know you did." Leaning back, Jett brushed his fingers over her cheek. "And you would have been a wonderful mother. You will be a wonderful mother." "Do you think God is punishing me because of what I said?" The anguish in that question clutched at his heart. She really thought the miscarriage was a punishment from God. He had to say something, anything to convince her otherwise. But she was grieving. He must choose his words with great care. "What happened was not your fault. It was not God's fault. The blame lies entirely with your cousin and the man he hired to kidnap you." There. That was to the point. "But no." He allowed his voice to harden just a bit, but still kept his tone gentle and understanding. "It was him. Not you. Not God. Him." Canace bit her lip before changing the subject. "What happened to him? To them?" She tried to sound like she didn't care, but the look in her husband's eyes told her she hadn't succeeded. "Your cousin is dead," Jett said firmly. "I'd beaten him so badly he was nearly so. Mac finished him off." "Mac killed him?" She wasn't sure how she felt about that. Jett nodded. "If he hadn't, I would have. And if neither of us had, the law would have. No one steals away a countess, almost kills her, and gets away with it. She tried not to feel guilty, and failed miserably. As for the other man, her husband continued, Mac took him to London. He'll spend the rest of his days in the deepest, darkest prison Mac can manage. But he will live. I'm surprised you let him live, but glad she didn't have 2 deaths on her conscience. We made a deal. He showed us where you were, we didn't kill him. He touched her cheek again. If he hadn't led us to you, you likely wouldn't have survived. You're worth more than he is. Those words warmed her heart, so she tried to smile, then stopped when smiling hurt too much. Everything hurt too much. Smiling, moving, crying, breathing. It all hurt, but she would heal. Physically. For now she was exhausted. Sensing this, Jett straightened and pulled the blankets up to her chin. He also adjusted her pillows so she was as comfortable as he could make her. Rest now, he instructed. My mother used to say that sleep could heal all ills. She might be right. Because she was tired and she did need rest, she nestled into the pillows as much as her injuries would allow. But when Jett stood, she panicked. You're not leaving. Jett smiled softly and shook his head. I'm not going anywhere. To prove it, he removed his boots, unfastened his belt, and climbed into bed with her. As soon as he wrapped his arms around her, she started to cry. What is it? He asked, afraid he'd hurt her. I want a baby, she sobbed, feeling the loss more acutely than before. He didn't know what to say or do to make her feel better, but her grief tore at his insides. He felt his own sadness, of course, but it was nothing compared to what she was going through. He'd lost the idea of a baby, and only for right now. She'd lost an actual child in her mind. He could think of nothing worse for a woman. No words would fix it. But he had to say something, so he searched for words that might soothe her shattered spirit. There will be other babies. That didn't sound right, so he tried again. Once you're well, and only when you're ready, we can have a baby. And that baby, and all the babies that come after, will grow in the safety and comfort of our love. As his words penetrated her grief-stricken mind, Canace's sobs slowed and eventually stopped. Not because her grief wasn't real, but because she'd focused on his last 2 words. Our love, she repeated as she struggled to look at him. Jett smiled at her incredulous tone and shifted so he could look down at her. He studied his bride, taking note of the bruises and the cuts, the scrapes and the swelling. Her hair was dull now, and the one eye he could see had lost its sparkle. And yet under all of that was the woman he'd married, the bride he'd fallen in love with. He hadn't realized it until he'd almost lost her. But he did love her. And she loved him. He didn't have to hear the words to know it was true. But maybe she did. Our love, he confirmed, running a hand down her cheek as gently as he could. I do love you, lovely. And you love me. More tears fell, but this time they were only tears of happiness. She sniffled, lifted an arm to brush the dampness from her cheeks, and winced in pain. Let me, her husband whispered. As he dried her eyes, she stared up at him, her chest full of more than pain and loss. His gentle touch and compassionate eyes told her he spoke the truth. His feelings for her were obvious, had been obvious for weeks now. She just hadn't seen it. And now that she knew how he felt, her own feelings blossomed. Her love was something she kept carefully caged since before their wedding. She'd been too afraid of being hurt to let her love out of its prison, but now she feared it no longer. His thumb brushed her lower lip as she tried to smile without pain. I do, you know. Her words were quiet and halting, but she knew he could hear her. Love you, I mean. Jett leaned down and kissed her as gently as he was able. She didn't flinch from him, but instead returned his light kiss. Her skin was so soft, her naked body so warm, he had to remind himself that she was injured. She was not ready for his advances, so he pulled his lips away, but kept his body pressed against hers. I know, he whispered in her ear, and for the first time in her life, Canace felt warm, safe, loved, and desired, all at the same time. That's it for today. If you enjoyed this chapter, stay tuned for more tales of romance. Until we meet again, may your days be filled with passion and just a touch of magic.